Hello, my spooky nation. How's everyone doing today? We are back. It has been forever since we've done a reaction video. I'm excited. Alright, today we're starting with top 5. This one is called 5 Dark Disturbing Internet Mysteries That Have Never Been Solved. Never. Now someone solved them after the video came out. I don't know. Alright, so you know what time it is. It's time to turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special, and let's get spooky. Ugh.
Kanye Quest. A Japanese role-playing game, or JRPG game, came out in 2013. The homepage states that the game is non-profit making and is unofficial, having not been endorsed or sponsored by any celebrity. The premise of the game is that whilst Kanye is taking out his household refuge, he is somehow sucked into a wormhole and travels into the future, to the year 2030, where a dystopian United States is being ruled by a clone of Lil B, who is claimed to be a god. It has been prophesied that Kanye would come to defeat Lil B, with the help of other rappers such as Tupac, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Kanye has turn-based rap battles with other musicians who challenge them on their journey. Once Kanye has defeated Lil B, he can return to his own time, declaring himself the one true based god, and take out the refuse. The fun and hilarious game soon became very popular, but could it have been a front for the cult, Ascensionism? In early 2015, one user made an online post in which they claimed that they had found proof of just this. Early on in the game, a terminal that Kanye is able to interact with displayed the message, "Ascend and worship the based god." Later in the game, one of the characters asks you what you want to do. At this point, you can type in anything you like, and the character will agree that she wants that too. But if you type in the word ascend, the screen becomes white and the player transforms into a butterfly, inside some sort of hovering space pyramid. The game then tells the player that they will be taught something beneficial, but only if they agree to never share the information with anyone else. The player has to reach the top of the pyramid by finding passwords for each of the on-screen computers in the room. These passwords can only be found by digging into the game's code. Once the player has reached the top of the pyramid, they must then send off their personal information and agree to allow unknown beings to continue testing them. So could the Kanye West game have been a recruitment tool for the Ascensionism cult? Ascensionism is a new age religion. Followers believe that a being is made of two spirits, a body and a soul. They are constantly reincarnated until they reach the point where, on judging themselves after death, they can deem themselves to be adequately worthy. Then they can destroy themselves and become an ancient essence from which other new souls can form. Ascensionists also think that all the bad things that happen to a person are because their own soul has prearranged it as a form of spiritual growth. They also believe that cloning splits the soul, and that an alliance of immortal and ancient clones has infiltrated the highest levels of world governments, which would tie in with the evil clone rappers that appear during the Kanye Quest game. It seems that Ascensionism really does exist. There are online articles referring to the religion. They have a Twitter page with links to a radio station, and the cult has its own record label. So it could really be that Kanye Quest was made by this new cult in order to convert people to their religion using pop culture, and they have left clues all over the internet as some sort of test. Or is the whole thing part of a complex ARG? Maybe it was the developers who actually made the post about the Ascend screen because no one had discovered it.
That's just weird. Cult related games. I've never even heard of it. Okay, I get the premise of going through the pyramid and putting in all these codes and all that good stuff, but I'm not putting my personal information so a higher being can get in contact with me. No, that's one game I'm not playing.
And they planted all of the other online stuff to make the cult look legit. Either way, both ideas seem as insane as one another. And how many other games are out there that are hiding their own weird endings? Internet black holes. In outer space, a black hole is a mysterious place that draws in everything around it, matter, radiation, and even light. It all just disappears to a place that no one can yet comprehend. These places exist on the internet as well, and have been there since its inception. It's happened to all of us one time or another. Your email seems to have disappeared off into cyberspace. You've definitely sent it, but it just hasn't appeared at the other end, or that web page that you want to simply visit will not load. Often it can be down to user error, but sometimes it has just vanished into thin air. There have been reports of emails being missing for several years before finally appearing in the recipient's box, and one victim to the experience reported that he sent an email in 2001 and eventually received a mailer daemon for it in 2014. Where was the email stuck for 13 years before the failure notice was sent? Engineers call this loss of data the black hole phenomenon. It seems that information not being sent to the intended receiver, being permanently deleted, or ending up in some unspecified location, happens more often than you think. Some scientists believe that everything that happens on the internet happens for a reason. So what if several of these black holes didn't delete your information at all, but rather diverted it to a third-party IP address? This could of course be just an innocent glitch, but there could also be a more sinister reason. There is potential here for a security breach, because these third parties can see whatever you have sent. The personal details and financial records of millions of innocent people could be at risk. Even more scary is the thought that the secrets of the world's government agencies could also be vulnerable, and have been. Could some of these black holes belong to dark web organizations or even terrorist groups who are collecting information? One scientist has made a study of what kind of data has been diverted as a way to learn about what could be causing the problem. He thinks that there is a disproportionate amount of political content going missing, too much for it to just be a coincidence, and that black holes are a cover for illegal activity. Students at the University of Washington
I have never had anything go missing. There's some things I wish would disappear that have never disappeared. I mean, no. I mean, an internet black hole. I mean, that would be dangerous though. Like government officials and stuff sending out private emails, like some dirty behind the scenes kind of stuff and just ending up in the hands of someone else. But it's the same way with the regular mail. I mean, you send a letter to someone who's to say that person gets it. I get other people's mail all the time. I don't open it, but there's going to be someone out there that does. I don't think any way you send any kind of information is safe unless you go to that person face to face into a secret room that's completely soundproof, blare music, and learn sign language. So you can be like, right, yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's no safe way to send any kind of information ever.
dismiss this as a coincidence and think that the problem is something technical or mechanical. They believe that the problem is too complex for simple foul play. Perhaps one day, if there really are people diverting the data, they will come forward and confess. Whether they are caused by a criminal act or simply a phenomena, internet black holes continue to be a huge puzzle. because there is such a lack of knowledge, a topic we think deserves its own video. heavenlyangels.org. heavenlyangels.org was originally made in the Czech language, and the viewer is encouraged to go to the original website and have it translated by Google for the full range of quality information. The site is huge, with over 7,000 pages of text and books, and 5,000 pictures and articles to download. The homepage is a psychedelic rainbow of colours, banners and links to many other pictures and websites, all explaining the teachings of the cosmic people. On the right-hand side of the page, a large picture of Asta Shuren is prominently displayed. Asta Shuren is an extraterrestrial being who was first channeled by the ufologist George Washington Van Tassel in 1952. Ashta was supposedly born 20,000 years ago on the planet Era, but has been incarnated into a physical presence. He is the leader of the Ashta Command and is responsible for all of the Grand Cosmic Squadron. He can supposedly communicate with mankind with the use of telepathy. He wants to help us stop destroying ourselves with the application of love and wisdom. Ashtar is said to be Scandinavian in appearance. He is quite tall, about 6 feet 5 inches, and has long blonde hair and blue eyes. He dresses in long white robes and sometimes wears a cloak. He is supposedly responsible for a part of the universe that the cosmic people call the fourth sector, and is in constant contact with Jesus Christ as well as the God of everyone. The website boasts that 200,000 people from 100,000 cities and villages of 194 countries download 20 million files from it every month, and it offers an emergency plan for evacuation of Earth when the time is right. There are warnings of the use of RFID tags. These spy chips are already embedded into consumer goods and can potentially be used to track people. The website states that the chips are used by the Saurians from Hells, who want to enslave people and are much worse than Hitler. They want to microchip everyone and create a new world order, a one-world government and religion under their complete control. The loving angels of heavens claim that their spaceships are above us now, and that they want a plan of cooperation between heaven and earth to help us evade a physical invasion from the dark worlds. The angels want to appear before humans, but cannot do this until the majority of people want to meet them. According to them, this is why it's so important to spread the message. One page shows a diagram of the mothership of the Grand Cosmic Squadron. The spaceship has 12 levels with elevators to connect them all. There are rooms for interdimensional visits, concert halls and a chamber that stores recordings of planet Earth. There is also a recreational area with parks and forests, and parking areas for smaller ships. The website displays messages such as "Don't get chipped" and "Angels and Starships." There is even an "I have an angelic dream" prayer, where the words of the civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. are changed to meet the agenda of the angels. The angels hope that the children of Earth will one day live on this planet, where they will not be judged by their position and role, but by the content of their character. The site claims that we should live in happiness, health and spiritual love, and all sing together for 2 hours every day. In the end, they state that the world will be destroyed by catastrophes, and only the believers who have their fourth heart chakra.
What? Oh, my Lord. So, what? Alright, so, what? I mean, I have faced some messed up stuff in my life, but what are they trying to feed me now? Someone been drinking the punch. That's all I got to say. I mean, so I don't even know. Like, there's spaceships up above us right now. Evidently huge. Fit whole other dimensions and whatnot inside of this ship. So, question one, how big is this ship? If you can fit worlds of population, animals, flowers, plants. Evacuation ships, portals to other dimensions. I mean, y'all seen the pictures. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was born in the morning, but it wasn't this morning. But I, the other one was more feasible than this one. This beautifully crafted alien dude that's like 6'5", long golden hair. But look at him, a pretty dude. Just is no, not no.
Chakras open will trans-vibrate to the upper dimension. The true question is, who is behind this website? There are thousands of pages and lots of detail, and someone must be spending many hours a day doing this. But the question is who and why? The Smiling Dog. It's an internet legend that we mentioned many years ago. A strange and disturbing photograph that has become synonymous with curses and madness. The origin of the photo goes all the way back to the start of the internet and the form of Usenet. Usenet was an early discussion site and was popular in the 1990s, and the photo just appeared there one day with no description, no explanation as to why it had been posted, and no links to who had posted it. It was just titled smile.jpg. The image was of a dark room and a husky dog, with human-like teeth, wearing an unsettling grin. In the corner of the picture, a spectral red hand waits, reaching out as though trying to pull the viewer in. No surprise then, that a disturbing backstory began to emerge around the image almost straight away. The most well known is that of an aspiring writer who visits an old lady. She is offered to give him some ideas for a new horror novel. When the writer arrived at her house, the woman was ranting about a smiling dog image that she had seen on a floppy disk. She was nearly half mad and raved about the vivid nightmares that had plagued her since she saw the image. She gave the writer the disc and asked him to destroy it. The old lady later committed suicide because the visions would not go away. The original photo is said to have been lost, and there are only recreations and fakes left, although there are tales of its effects. In 2002, a hacker infiltrated the satire website Something Awful and posted the photograph. It's reported that there was a mass epidemic of intense and uncontrollable epileptic seizures among those who saw the smiling dog. Other accounts state that the image caused a slow creeping of insanity for anyone unfortunate enough to see it. The viewer would be besieged with violent nightmares and hallucinations, and the image would worm its way into their waking thoughts until it would become an obsession and drove them insane. It's also claimed that many of the Usenet users who saw it believed it was a demon rather than a dog, and committed suicide just to end the torment of their visions. It has been said that viewers of the image are mysteriously compelled to show it to others so that the curse will be passed on. Many people say that the image is still out there on the net. Some even claim to have seen it and become victims of its hellish power. The image you're about to see is a very close representation of the original. The Time Cube.
You know, I don't down anybody for what they believe in any way, shape, or form. It's a free country. Do whatever you freaking want. I don't care. But are you serious? People are killing themselves because a picture of a smiling dog in a red hand. The little evil minion smile was like, oh my Okay. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, no. I didn't see nothing wrong with the picture. Come on, people. I mean, hmm.
In 1997, a strange webpage appeared. It was created by a former electrician named Gene Ray. The page was garish and disorganized with a long central column of script. There were several random changes in font colors and sizes, bizarre diagrams, and haphazard capitalization. Amid all of this extensive scroll of
Children will be blessed for killing of educated adults who ignore for simultaneous days, same Earth rotation, practicing evil oneness upon Earth of quadrants. Evil adult crime versus youth supports the lie of integration. When educated are most dumb, not one human expected dead.
text was a claim from Ray, who calls himself the Doctor of Cubism, that he had found the theory of everything,
Man,
a new concept of space and time, which he called Time Cube, declaring that everything taught to us about modern physics is a lie and part of a conspiracy to hide the truth of our universe. The webpage opened with the statement that in 1884 people met in Washington to change Earth time. They agreed that one day could be used on Earth to not change the one-day marshmallow, and the other 3 days. Ray goes on to say that marshmallow time is wrong, and no man on Earth has no belly button. It seems that the basis for the self-proclaimed wisest human theory is that our concept of time is wrong, and Greenwich Mean Time is a worldwide conspiracy. Ray's belief is that time is cubic. This means that the two halves of the Earth are not fixed, but are metaphysical spheres that revolve independently of one another. They therefore cancel each other out as diametrically opposite points.
No.
Ray states that nothing can exist without an exact opposite. This results in 4 24-hour days taking place during what we now perceive to be one normal 24-hour day. He calls this nature harmonic simultaneous 4-day time cube, the 4 corners of the day being midnight, 6 AM, midday, and 6 PM, which together make a unique collaboration, with the time-space continuum divided into 4 classes known as cubic time. Ray deems the number 4 to be the ultimate number in the universe, so the number occurs quite frequently and can be related to many things such as the 4 ages of man being baby, child, parent and grandparent, the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn and winter, or even the 4 corners of a human head, being the back, face and 2 ears. Ray also discusses the importance of antipodes a lot, claiming that although everything has a polar opposite, the two things are in a continuous state of flux. Ray says the so-called scientists and academics of the world are actually the educated stupid, who are most dumb, and anyone who does not believe in his theory is a part of the conspiracy. Anything that does not have an opposite and is a unique entity is repulsive to Ray, including God, whose name he uses 119 times on the page. Sadly, there are also several pretty nasty anti-Semitic, homophobic and racist comments amongst all this rambling text. The site has been pondered over for decades. People are still trying to make sense of it all by going over archived pieces of text and screenshots. Consequently, Time Cube has become an internet legend in the process. So was the webpage some sort of bizarre joke, a surreal art project, or maybe the rantings of a mentally ill man? Ray does write about a psychiatrist examining his behaviour and judging him to be schizophrenic at one point on the page. Whatever is the case, Ray died in 2015 at the age of 87. His death took with him any chance we had of ever finding out. So that's it for these 5 disturbing internet mysteries. We'd love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.
He must have moved to one of the dead states or something. What? That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh my god. I we're moving on. All right, we're gonna do some slapped ham. This is the scariest ARGs, alternate reality games on the internet.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some scary videos that are starting to freak people out. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content, just like this. Alternate reality games, or ARGs, seem to have taken the world by storm in recent years. Blurring the line between reality and fantasy, these games are narratives that use the real world as a way to tell made-up stories. Viewers of these games use codes, clues, or hints included in ARG videos to try and untangle the story. In turn, viewers can affect the outcome of the story in real time, immersing themselves completely into the narrative. ARGs make use of multiple media platforms, such as videos, photos, or social media channels, to tell the story and encourage community interaction. As such, some of the most popular ARGs can be found on YouTube or TikTok, two of the most popular video platforms today. Moreover, the most viewed ARG videos out there take on one particular genre: horror. With horror ARGs, reality becomes blended into our worst fears, and viewers simply can't get enough. The TikTok account Killian and Maruta contains one of the most popular and eeriest ARGs on the social media platform. The premise of the ARG is this: an individual has woken up in a world where no one else exists. They wander around filming various locations that seem to show an empty world. The clips began to be uploaded in March of 2021, but the plot took an even stranger turn in June. In the first video uploaded to the account labelled The Beginning, viewers can see many empty-looking locations, including streets, grocery stores, and an empty McDonald's restaurant. Text in the video explains that the individual filming woke up to an uninhabited world, with no one responding to their messages. As a result, they find themselves both alone and scared. In a follow-up video, the uploader offers some theories as to what's happening while continuing to show more vacant locations. The theories are that the uploader has either died, entered a coma after being in an accident, woken up in an alternative reality, or is undergoing an experiment by the government or another powerful entity.
That would all be pretty scary.
The third video in the series shows the uploader taking advantage of an abandoned car, cruising along the streets, but still finding no people. On the plus side, the uploader notes that food
I mean, honestly, that's been like the past year.
doesn't seem to decay in this world, so they never have to worry about running out of food or water. In another clip, we start to get some context as to what may truly be happening in these videos. The clip shows a quick montage of various online articles declaring that humans are living in a simulation. Text in the video states that we humans didn't listen to the people who claimed we're living in a false reality. Mysteriously, the TikToker claims they're here because they tried to play God. The TikToker finally reveals the truth in the next video. They state that they were once an AI programmer working for a large tech company. One day they hacked into the company's quantum computer and uploaded their code into the system. The computer quickly began to learn the code and evolve until one day the TikToker respawned. waking up in an empty world. They now think they're paying for their sins. The ensuing video is one that has stirred up a large debate with many other TikTokers. In the footage, the uploader shows yet again more videos of empty streets and stranded cars. This time though, they decided to take action. All over the city, which is presumed to be Rome, Italy, the TikToker has written the words, "You are not alone," "I'm here," and "Help." In one location they've written, "I'll be here every day, midday," as a sign for anyone else out there to meet them if they're in this strange world as well. The TikToker claims that they've both heard and seen things that make them sure that they're not truly alone. Many viewers believe that the text supposedly written on the walls looks digitally placed, giving credence to the theory that this series is being edited by a tech-savvy filmmaker. Come June, the TikToker experiences a plot twist. They've woken up in what they call a ghost ship. We can see that the TikToker is standing on the outside of what seems to be indeed a large ship in the first video from June. The video cuts to an empty swimming pool with a chair inside it, with text that reads, "Why me?" Following this, we can see a deserted arcade hall, a large dining area, as well as some sleeping compartments. At the very end of the video, the TikToker shows the controls of the ship.
If you was alone in the world, what would you be doing? Right. If I was on the boat, I'd be driving it. I mean, I'd have to. I would mess up so much stuff if I was all over the world. Oh God. Everything I've ever wanted to do, I would do. And then after that, I'd be bored. That's just me, though.
Ship, showing that the ship is moving forward and that they have no idea how to stop it. In the second video on the ghost ship, the TikToker shows more empty hallways and restaurants, claiming that they've not eaten or had any water in 4 days. Things are starting to look bleak for this TikToker. In the next video, viewers are given a sad and shocking sight. The TikToker seems to be floating in the middle of the ocean. Text on the screen reads, "This is the end," and the camera goes underwater for several moments before coming back up. Further text has the TikToker thanking everyone, even though they're not sure that anyone is truly listening. As they're about to give up, a door suddenly appears floating on top of the water, and the TikToker holds on, saying there's still yet hope. With over 30 million likes combined on this TikToker's videos, it's safe to say that plenty of people have opinions on what's really happening here. Some are sure that the videos are simply an extravagant prank that have been cleverly edited with people or other signs of life removed in post-production. In fact, some eagle-eyed viewers have spotted cars moving at the very beginning or ending of some clips, which would help this theory. Others are sure that the video series is indeed an ARG, and a very successful one at that. The creator has blended both reality and fiction to create a narrative of a lost character in a new and scary world. The narrative promotes the idea of simulation, a common theory that we're living in a virtual world controlled by someone else. It seems that the videos will continue adding into this mystery. This series is a fascinating ride and well worth your time. As always, I'll put a link in the description box below, and let me know if you've watched this series in the comment section as well.
That
The
would be
YouTube
weird, though.
account Hi, I'm Mary is one of the most well-known horror ARGs on the video streaming platform. The series follows a girl who wakes up one day remembering only her name, Mary, and that she's in a house, presumably her parents' house, or at least a copy of it. She's unable to break the windows or doors to escape the house, trapped completely inside on her own. She has no connection to the outside world, though her internet works, she's unable to speak to anybody. Fortunately, the food in her home seems to restock itself so she can survive. While this situation is certainly eerie in itself, things get much more terrifying when Mary begins to encounter beings that seem anything but human. Ensuing videos introduce viewers to a plethora of frightening characters, including a woman wearing a dark blanket over her head nicknamed the Veiled Lady.
I'll punch
A
her
copy
damn
of Mary
face.
herself wearing a mask. And two shadow figures that linger around various parts of the house.
You do anything?
Mary has many meetings with these terrifying entities, with the Veiled Lady continuously taunting Mary, speaking words into her ears and following her around.
Yeah, that is creepy. Just
Several videos into the spooky story, Mary finds herself finally outside in a vast garden.
well, that's
Hello?
good.
Hello?
She tries to find the end of the garden and other human beings, but finds she's truly alone.
Hello? Is somebody out there?
The garden begins to be her only place of solace, where she's able to escape the monsters in the house. Unfortunately, over time, the garden starts to change as strange objects appear and the weather turns sour, forcing Mary back inside.
It's freezing. What?
Eventually, Mary begins to lose hope and makes a
It's
plan to either
winter.
end her life or ask the Veil Lady to kill her.
Yeah. I mean, she does a good job. She really does. I mean, but no, it's wintertime, lady. I mean, don't give me that.
Right before she's about to end it all, she receives notifications on her computer. She can see that viewers on YouTube have been commenting on her videos and that people are reaching out to her. She decides to fight on and is transported back to the garden where she meets a lady in white. This character informs Mary that she has the power to beat her demons.
You have a lot more power over this world than you know. You created it, Mary, albeit without realizing it. I'll help where I can, but remember, you have the power here. Now take the darkness and make it your own. Good luck, Mary. I'll see you very soon.
In the last video, it seems Mary has regained her strength. She packs up her bags and leaves the house, seemingly for good. After analysing the group of videos, theorists have concluded that the house was a metaphor for Mary's mind, where she fought demons that were really her fear, anxiety and depression. When Mary left the house, she had finally faced her negative thoughts and beat them to come out stronger on the other side. Many viewers praised this ARG series for taking on a deeper context and also enjoyed the fact that Mary recognised the viewers in the videos. This is one ARG that will hopefully inspire future meaningful narratives to come.
Goodbye.
Be creepy.
Another
give
hugely
her
popular
props.
TikTok ARG horror series created by the account Where is the Sky explores the narrative of an individual who wakes up and realises he's yet again completely alone. However, in this narrative, the sun never comes up. Soon the protagonist discovers that he's surrounded by terrifying monsters who seem out to get him. The beginning of the series sees the TikToker showing the outside world from inside of his home. The sky is black and there seems to be a mysterious fog on the streets. In the description of the video, the TikToker explains that he's completely alone and isn't able to reach out to anyone. In another video, we can see the streets where it remains completely empty and pitch black outside. There seems to be something above the TikToker hovering in the sky with blinking bright red lights. One of the most terrifying.
And these people are very, very creative. I give them props. A heck of an imagination.
Videos shows the TikToker exploring a bridge. All looks normal until a couple of seconds into the video when the clip cuts to the TikToker running as a loud roar can be heard in the background. Finally, we get a glimpse of what may be behind the roar that the TikToker constantly hears in the following video. The TikToker films the stairs outside of his apartment. For a few moments, all seems fine, until suddenly we can see what looks to be a shadowy figure running up the stairs. The TikToker then flees up the stairs and enters a doorway, pressing the elevator button as the video ends. In the following video, the TikToker stand clip shows a street view at night, though this time footsteps can be heard running in the background. Then suddenly, there's a loud glitching noise, and we can see a shadowy figure running towards the camera. The last clip shows the TikToker filming again, with more footsteps to be heard. There's another roar, and the TikToker runs again, this time stopping at a gate before the clip concludes. While the creator of these videos has not provided an explanation, many speculate that this is simply a fun horror ARG.
Yeah.
However, some viewers are positive that this is real, and that we're getting a glimpse of some type of parallel universe. If so, what exactly is happening in this alternate reality? Are these shadowy figures
people got
actually
too much
aliens
time
who
on
have
their
landed
hands.
on Earth? And if so, what have
I would say they need a hobby, but they have one, evidently. But, I mean, honestly, that takes some very vivid imagination. Not everyone can do stuff like that. That's it's something. It's cool though.
they done to make the sun disappear? It seems viewers will have to keep watching the series in hopes of getting an answer. Before we take a look at our final ARG that had thousands of viewers tricked that it was actually real, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon, because it was able to trick that. I Am Sophia is a horror ARG that's immensely popular because it was able to trick thousands of viewers from the very beginning. In the initial video uploaded by the channel I Am Sophia to YouTube, we get a glimpse of what seems to be a millionaire millennial, living a life of complete luxury, private jets and all.
I am Sophie.
The video focuses on Sophie, promising to follow her life as she becomes a reality superstar.
I'm Sophie. I've never actually uploaded a vlog before and thought, just why not show people what it's like to be me?
The following few videos show Sophie promoting her own clothing line, Young, Rich and Powerful, giving a tour of the mansion she lives in, her dad's, and travelling with her best friend. All seems well until suddenly there seems to be a glitch where an unknown woman appears in several videos.
But like, guys, seriously, I don't even think I'm like crazy. Like, I am
but
actually
this
quite
is like
sensible.
this is unusual. Like this is our time to have fun.
How many followers he has? Like,
The following videos enter a deep downward spiral that involves stolen identity, murder, torture and gore. Sophie is eventually taken and replaced by her biggest fan, a woman named Lara. She goes on to copy Sophie's original videos, clearly wanting to replicate her life, but ends up having to face her own demons.
My name's Lara. I'm smart in business.
I'm also a model.
Because, well,
I am Sophie. Am I being real? Are you being you?
What's that room? I think that's locked. Can't talk what's in it. I don't know. Calm down, yeah?
what's happening?
Who are you?
I Am Sophie is a more complex, lengthy ARG that explores the many possibilities of alternate reality gaming. It was admired for its ability to fool audiences into thinking this was just another obnoxious rich influencer showing off her lifestyle, when in all actuality it was a dark game of cat and mouse. Though the series is over, plenty of viewers are still reeling in the series' ability to leave a genuine mark.
Cool. And then we just begin my reaction video for the new Fortnite. Cool. And then we just begin. Cool.
Again, I'll put links to all these ARGs in the comment section below.
Thank you for your future. Thank you for your hate. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your life.
If you want to see some more scary videos, then check out that link on the top.
That looked interesting. I ain't gonna lie. Seriously, the things people can accomplish, it's crazy. Like, I don't. I don't have the imagination for any of that. So I'd give props to these people, like, to be able to sit there and think of just random things that they can make videos of, and they're making money off of it, they're having fun doing it, they're learning. I mean, that's props to them. I mean, heck yeah, I like this. Alright. Let's see. Let's do some Life of Luxury.
Why does she even need us for this? Can't she?
This one is Life of Luxury. Something is wrong with her mom.
She just call the police or something? Bro, she thinks that doll is her daughter. Oh. Bro, look at these pictures.
Real quick before we start, we just want to say thank you so much for 3 million subscribers. It's unbelievable. We never really pictured getting to this point, but it's clear that you guys love our videos. So we're going to keep making them because we want to make all of you happy. We have a lot of surprises coming for you guys, so smash that subscribe button and notification bell to stay tuned. Hello, Lux Army. Let's smash 100,000.
Alright. Life of Luxury. If you've never heard it, seen it, we've done it once or twice before on this channel. Well, I'll get used to it. We'll all get used to that. We have actually done Life of Luxury before in a couple of videos. It is not scary, and they even say it's, you know, for entertainment. Everything is outlandish. It's more funny than it is terrifying in any way, shape, or form. But I really like Life of Luxury. I'm sorry, I do. So, before you're all like, oh, there's nothing creepy about it, it's not all creepy. We can have a little fun.
Likes for more new videos. So for this episode, we received an email from a 19-year-old girl named Emma. Emma is afraid that someone has been trying to break into her house at night. She says she's been seeing someone outside of her windows watching her, but by the time she calls for help, they've disappeared. Emma says she even caught this person trying to pick her lock at 3 in the morning. She sent us this video for proof. Now, Emma says that she's so horrified of this person that she can no longer sleep at night, and she wants us to come to her house to help her immediately. So tonight we're going to head out to Emma's house to see what's going on. Let's go.
Let's go.
Dude, I'm really creeped out by that video Emma sent us. Why do you think someone's trying to break into her house like that?
I have no idea. I mean, there's a million reasons.
Why does she even need us for this? Can't she just call the police or something?
Bro, the police aren't gonna stay with her there all night.
Bro, the person trying to break in could be dangerous. Why should we get involved in this?
Bro, this girl's scared and she's asking for our help. We can't just ignore someone who's in need.
No, you cannot.
Bro, we're here.
Is that?
Bro, this neighborhood looks so unsafe. People are probably breaking into houses around here all the time.
Bro, do you want to help this girl or not?
Okay, we're already here.
Okay, let's just go, dude. Just go down, right? We're gonna be fine.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I guess this is the place. Found this house. It's kind of gross. Okay, let's knock here.
Radio Shack.
Hi. Hi. You're Emma, right? Are you Emma?
Yes.
I thought you said in the email that you were 19.
I
Okay. Can we come inside, please?
Yes.
Is there somewhere we can go to sit down?
Yes.
Okay, Emma, thank you for inviting us into your house. Could you have a seat so we can talk? Please, can you sit? Okay. So you told us in the email you sent us that you think someone's been watching you through your window? And you said they even tried to get in once.
It is no problem anymore.
What do you mean? You seemed really freaked out in that email.
Oh, don't know that. I wasn't myself.
Bro, I think she's crazy.
What do you mean by that?
I just couldn't feel it.
Couldn't feel what?
What?
What is it? Emma, do you live?
What? What? No. Okay. Maybe. See what I mean? You gotta love these videos.
Alone?
My daughter's here. Do you want to see her?
I didn't know she had
What?
a daughter.
Dude, this woman's crazy. I don't think she should have a child.
Whose house are we in?
Dude, that's Emma, right?
I don't know, dude. I don't know this woman is. What's she doing there? Oh, your daughter's in here?
Oh, I'm sleeping.
She's beautiful.
Oh, sweet. Do you need a bath?
Emma, can you sit down again with us, please? Emma, is there anyone else here to, like, take care of you and your daughter?
I used to live with my mother. One time, I tried on her dress, and when she caught me, she locked me in the closet all night.
I'm sorry to hear that.
God.
I screamed and begged to be let out, but I eventually liked it.
Emma, listen, we want to make sure no one's trying to come in and hurt you, so we'll set up cameras. I know you wanted us to do that. I just need to go talk to Chester, okay? If you want to go to your room with your daughter. Come on.
Oh my god. I tried on my mom's dress, she said. So she caught me and locked me in the closet all night. I screamed. But then I eventually liked it. How long was she in this closet, bro? Oh my god.
Dude, what is going on in this house?
Bro, she thinks that doll is her daughter.
You're concerned about that doll right now? This isn't even the same girl from the email.
Bro, she said she was Emma. Is she catfishing us?
Dude, Emma's supposed to be 19. This is a middle-aged woman. How do you not see that?
Bro, look at these pictures. It looks like she scratched the faces out on these. Who do you think those people are?
Dude, I don't know. Maybe she crossed their faces out because they died or something. Like this is how she grieves.
Supper's ready.
Yo, look at that.
Bro, who's supper for? The dolls?
I have no idea, bro. We need to figure out what's going on in this house. Let's set up some cameras, okay?
Okay.
Let's put this here. Okay, that's good.
this room. Camera. I think she's on her phone or something. Hi. Oh. Emma. What are you doing there? Okay, I'm just gonna put this camera in your room. Emma, we're gonna be staying in your spare bedroom tonight, if that's okay.
Bro, why is she doing that? This is creepy.
Stop it! Okay, so we set up a bunch of cameras and lock the doors in case that person comes back. We'll leave you alone now.
Why are you doing this?
Dude, that doll looks like you.
What do you mean? That doll doesn't look like me.
Let's go in our room. Let's go in our room.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I guess this is the room that we're gonna be staying in.
God. Poor Chester.
Oh, bro, finally. 2 beds.
Well, I kind of liked it the way it was before.
You gotta be joking me right now. We finally have separate beds.
Well, do you think we could just push them together?
Dude, we are not gonna push these beds together. I'll be right back. I'll use the bathroom.
Dude, there's something really wrong with this lady, bro. Do you think she doesn't like me?
What?
She yelled at me when I was in her room.
Bro, why do you care about what this lady thinks about you? I'm more worried about what the hell's going on in this house.
I can't stop thinking about those dolls. Does this sound like the same girl who messaged you?
Dude, this lady does not seem mentally competent.
No.
I have no idea how she could have even written that email.
Bro, so who is this lady? Why can't we just go home?
Bro, I don't know who this lady is, but it's kind of too late to drive back now. And plus, let's just record her and make sure she's not doing anything too bad, okay? Let's go to sleep.
Okay.
We go to sleep. Oh God. And they did not hear that. Poor Chester. 3:22 a.m.
Guys, I just came downstairs to use the bathroom, and I heard a screaming noise from your basement. Listen. Hello? Hello? Who's there? Oh my god!
She locked me in here. She locked me down here.
Emma did?
I'm Emma.
Oh my god.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna go get Parker.
No, wait, no, wait, no,
Oh no. No, no. Help! Help!
Grabs that carrot.
Yo, I don't know what's going on.
Boom.
Yo, what's going on, dude? Dude, there's a girl down here. What are you talking about? Emma's crazy. She locked us down here. We're up the stairs. We're up the stairs.
Where is she?
She's in there, bro.
What did she do to you? Oh my god, let's go!
Hurry! Hurry!
Out the window here!
Dude, she's almost down the stairs!
Come on, go!
Dude, hurry! Hurry! She's almost behind us! Get away! Come on, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Wait up!
Let's go!
Hurry, bro! You gotta drive!
You want that lady?
She locked me in there.
She locked you in there?
I told you I had a bad feeling about her!
Okay, okay. Are you okay? What did she do?
Dude, this is freaking me out! Bro, drive faster! Drive faster!
Oh, no, okay. Everything's gonna be alright, okay? We'll take you back to our house for now until we can figure out what's going on, okay?
Poor Chester. We drove the real Emma back to our house and tried to question her on what the lady wanted. She says she didn't know, and the lady says she didn't want to lose another one.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. Let's try to smash 100,000 likes for the next episode to be released. Again, thank you so much for 3 minutes.
Oh, you gotta love Life of Luxury. It is very entertaining. Wow. What should we do now? Let's do some Mr. Baldwin. It's been a minute. His family never saw it coming. Bruce get America. Let's do top 3 stories that sound fake but are 100% real. Part 16.
Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and today we're going to look at 3 stories that demonstrate that. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan In January of 2015, a 27-year-old Texas man named George Pickering III suffered a massive stroke. He was immediately admitted to a hospital where he was put on life support, and then doctors delivered some bad news to his family. It would turn out George was brain dead, and they advised the family that realistically they should consider pulling George off of life support because it wasn't going to do him any good. George's family was totally devastated by this news. In fact, George's father was so upset he just left the hospital altogether. And so in his father's absence, George's mother and brother wound up talking to doctors and saying that yes, we are prepared to pull George off of life support. After they consented to have this done.
What? No. See, no. The father's going to be angry. Oh my God. Why would they do that?
They put George on an organ donor list and then began making funeral plans. When George's father came back to the hospital later that day and found out his family had consented to have George pulled from life support, he was furious. He did not believe his son was just totally brain dead and there was no hope. He felt like they should at least try to give him a little bit more time to potentially give them a signal that he was okay. But George's mother and brother told George's father that they had spoken to the doctors and there was just no hope. There was no reason to delay this process. It was time. But George's father was totally not having it. He stormed out of the room and he found the doctors and he demanded they keep his son on life support just a little bit longer. But the doctors told him there really is no reason to do that. And in fact, all you're doing is jeopardizing the people that need his organs, that are waiting for this organ transplant. And so really what we need to do is actually expedite taking him off of life support because that's the best thing to do right now. George's father was so upset, totally distraught. He ran back to his son's room.
How is a doctor going to look at you and be like, well, we could, but these other people are more important than your kid? I mean, I get the premise, sacrificing one to save more people. I understand to an extent. But the dude just had a stroke. He is just now classified as brain dead. He can come out of that at any time. They just, no, I don't trust that organ donor stuff. They'll let you die. They will. And yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer it helps someone, but no, I'd be angry.
He laid over his son and he just held his hands and stared at him and just prayed that his son would give him some sign that he was actually not brain dead, but his son didn't. And before long, the doctors began filtering into the room to begin the procedure of removing his son from life support. And when they came in the room, George's father kind of snapped. He ran out of the room, he ran out of the hospital, he went out to his car and he got his gun and then ran back into the hospital, back into his son's room and aimed the gun at the doctors and ordered them to stop what they were doing and leave the room immediately. And so the doctors had not actually begun.
Leave him alone or you're going to need some organs, like back up. I don't blame I'm a father of 3 boys. I can't say I wouldn't do the same. Not even lie.
Removing George from life support, so he's still on life support. And so once the doctors and everyone left the room, George's father walked over, he locked the door, and then for the next several hours he just kept his gun aimed at the door as he laid over his son and just kept looking down in hopes that his son would give him some sign that he was not brain dead. And so finally, when the SWAT team arrived and was stacking up outside the door in the hallway, they began yelling into the room for George's father to put the gun down and let them come in. And George's father the whole time is just looking down at his son, hoping and praying that his son is just going to do something. And right as the SWAT team kicks in the door and comes into the room, George's father had reached down and grabbed his son's hand, and his son squeezed his hand back. And as soon as his father felt that, he dropped the gun and he surrendered peacefully to the SWAT team. And then the SWAT team put George's father on the ground, and as he's being detained, George's father is yelling for the doctors to come in the room. My son is okay. And sure enough, when the doctors came in the room, George was okay. He was moving his hand, his eyes were open, he was making good eye contact, and before long, he made a totally full recovery. He would later be told that had his father not stepped in when he did and bought him those extra few hours on life support, George would have died. As for George's father, he was ultimately sentenced to 10 months in prison for his aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
That's bull.
But he and the rest of his family think what he did was certainly worth going to prison for.
No, man shouldn't. I mean, I understand he did bad by pulling a gun on, but he didn't say. No. He did not deserve to go to prison for that. That's bull. Yeah, completely, totally worth it. Like, if it saved my kid's life, I'd prison 10 months, do a stand on the head of my wing. It's whatever. But the man saved his life. The doctors was in way too big of a hurry to kill his son. To me, they should have been charged with attempted murder. If I'm getting charged with aggravated assault and assault with a deadly weapon or anything of that sort, they need to be charged for attempted murder. It's only fair. Because that's what they would have been doing. They would have been killing his kid. Like, no.
In 1959, Ronald McNair was a very gifted 9-year-old African-American boy living in South Carolina. While he was good at virtually everything he tried, from music to athletics to schoolwork, the only thing that ever really grabbed his attention was outer space. And so as a 9-year-old child, he made the decision that one day he was going to become an astronaut. But he had no idea how to become an astronaut. And so he decided the first thing he would do would be to go to his library and take out some books on NASA, the very famous organization that sends American astronauts to space. However, there was an issue with his plan. This library only served white patrons. It was a segregated library. Ronald knew this, but he figured, you know what, I'm a polite kid. I can get in there and get out before anybody notices me. But as soon as he walked into that library, everybody in there, who were all white, just stared at Ronald. Ronald could feel it, but he just kept his head down and he walked through the library. He got to the science section, he grabbed a couple books he wanted, and then he walked back to the counter and he put them up and he very politely asked the librarian, who was also white, if he could check these books out. And this librarian looks at him and says, "Young man, you better get out of here before I call the police." And Ronald at this point looks up at the librarian and thinks for a second and then just hops up onto her counter and sits there and says, "Okay, I'll wait for the police." The librarian was totally outraged and would call the police and would call Ronald's mother. And before long, the police did show up, and it was 2 white guys. They come inside, and this librarian runs over to them, and she's talking to them, and she's pointing back over at Ronald, gesticulating that very clearly Ronald is the issue. That's why you've been called here. And the officers would be just totally annoyed by this librarian, and they would say to her, "Why don't you just let the kid take the books out?" And the librarian was totally offended at this and began defending her decision to call the police instead of letting him take the books out. And as she's defending herself, Ronald's mother comes running into the library. She runs over to her son to make sure he's okay, and then she looks up at the police officers and this librarian to try to figure out what's going on. And at this point, the police officers are just totally over it, and they turn to the librarian and they say, "You know what, you really ought to let him take the books out." And then the officers just turned around and left. The librarian was not about to just let him take the books. She was still very upset, and so she storms over to Ronald's mother and she says to her, "You shouldn't let your son come in here." And at this, Ronald's mother is looking at this librarian who's totally upset, and she looks down at her son who's got his head down, and then she notices the few books on the counter about space, and she was aware of Ronald's love for outer space, and she put together what had happened. And after thinking about it for a moment, she looks up at this librarian and she just says, "Well, since he's here already, can he take out those books? He'll take good care of them." The librarian is still totally furious, but knows this is a losing fight, and so very reluctantly, with a scowl on her face, she grabs the books and she jams them into Ronald's arms. And Ronald's mother nudges Ronald and says, "What do you say?" And Ronald, while holding all of his new books about NASA and space, looks up at the librarian and smiles and says, "Thank you, ma'am." And then he and his mom turn around and they leave. Ronald would go on to earn his PhD in physics from MIT, one of the most prestigious universities in the world, and after graduation, he was picked up by NASA to become an astronaut. And in 1984, Ronald went into outer space. He was actually the second African American to ever go into outer space.
Get him, Ronald, yeah!
And while he was in orbit, apparently he played his saxophone for his crew. And then in 1986, Ronald was chosen again to go on another mission to outer space, but tragically, 73 seconds after takeoff, their space shuttle, the Challenger, exploded, killing Ronald and the 6 other astronauts on board. Following his death, the library in South Carolina that had tried to turn Ronald away for his skin color renamed themselves the Ronald McNair Life History Center.
That's cool. I mean, that's sad. That sucks. At least he got to go in space once before. That is a good thing. I mean, I always say, you know, whenever I die, I want to go out with a bang, but that was literal. But I like that they changed the name of the library. That's cool. I like that. Just desserts.
The United States formally entered World War II in December of 1941 following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii by the Japanese. Roughly 6 months later, a 21-year-old Alabama native named Henry Irwin joined the Army Reserve. After nearly 2 years of additional military training, Henry was made into a radio operator and was assigned to a B-29 bomber. A B-29 bomber is this huge aircraft whose sole purpose is to drop bombs. And so in February of 1945, Henry and his B-29 bomber unit were sent to the Pacific to do just that, drop bombs on the Japanese. 2 months after arriving, Henry's B-29 was tasked with being the lead bomber in a group attack on a Japanese chemical facility located about 125 miles north of Tokyo. Aside from just operating his radio inside of the B-29, occasionally Henry's job was to organize the other planes in the attack when their B-29 was the lead attacker. And so the way he would do this was by dropping a series of smoke bombs out of his plane, and then once they touched the ground and all the smoke was coming up, he would hop on his radio and communicate with the other pilots in his sortie and tell them to organize themselves off of this visual reference point on the ground. He would basically have them fly to certain positions relative to the smoke cloud. And so once all the pilots had been organized into proper formation, they would continue to their target and commence their bombing raid. For this mission, Henry was in his typical position right behind the front turret gun towards the front of the plane. When his pilot told him to start dropping smoke bombs, Henry did as he was told. And so he pulled the lever, which opened up a chute on the bottom of the plane, and all these smoke bombs began tumbling out of it. Now, as soon as he pulled that lever, all of these smoke bombs that were in that particular chute were ignited. They were on a timed fuse, and so they would tumble out of the plane, and then before hitting the ground, they would ignite, and then smoke would start billowing out of them. But for some reason, after he pulled that lever, a couple of the smoke bombs fell out of the chute, but one of them kind of got turned around, and as it tumbled down, it kind of caught itself on the lip and bounced back up into the plane, and it struck Henry square in the face, shattering his nose, and then it ignited and literally lit Henry's face on fire, which instantly blinded him. Smoke bombs are not considered lethal devices because they do not explode.
Oh my God! That's horrible. No.
Explode the way typical bombs do. However, make no mistake about it, you would not want to be near a military-grade smoke bomb when it went off. In order for it to emit that very thick and long-lasting smoke that it does, the smoke bomb ignites a chemical fire within itself that burns extremely hot. And so when the smoke bomb came back inside the plane and ignited right in front of Henry, those chemicals landed on his face, and so that's why he caught on fire. And if that wasn't bad enough, the smoke bomb also filled the plane completely with smoke, making it impossible for the pilots to see anything. Despite his burning, shattered face, all Henry could think about was if he didn't get this smoke bomb off the plane in the next few seconds, they were all going to crash and die. So instead of trying to put out his burning face, Henry began feeling around on the ground for the smoke bomb, which again is basically like a fireball, and when he found it, he pulled it into his chest, trying to smother it as best as he could. And while his body completely engulfed in flames, Henry began low-crawling his way towards the front of the plane where he knew, just by touch, there was going to be a window. And so as he agonizingly crawled, he's on fire, he finally gets to this window, he can feel it above him, and he manages to lift the smoke bomb up and throws it out the window. And then afterwards he collapses on the ground and he passes out completely on fire, fully expecting to die. A few seconds later, the smoke inside of the plane cleared because now the smoke bomb was gone, and the pilot who had put the plane on autopilot but did have to drop significantly in altitude because they were starting to stall, finally could see again and saw they were about 300 feet from hitting the water. And so he was able to pull back and get them out of their dive, and he narrowly escaped crashing into the water, and he turned around and began flying back to base. On this return return trip, the crew, who were unhurt, began assessing the damage, and they saw Henry on fire on the side of the plane. And so they rushed over and they put him out with a fire extinguisher, expecting him to be dead. But to their shock and horror, he was still alive. And so they gave him morphine for his pain and expected him to die any moment. But Henry didn't die. Instead, he was very cheerful on the flight all the way back to base, and he would ask each of his crew members if they were okay, and they would all say, yeah, I'm just fine. It's really you who we're concerned about here. When the pilot finally landed back at base, Henry's body had stiffened up so dramatically from being on fire that the doctors couldn't actually get him out of the plane's side door, and so they had to dismantle the side of the plane to get Henry out. And so the doctors fully expected Henry was going to die basically any moment from his horrible wounds, but since he hadn't yet, they did everything they could to try to save him. They put him through dozens of surgeries, including one where they would try to remove the chemical flecks from the smoke bomb that had embedded in his eyes. And since these chemicals combusted as soon as they made contact with oxygen, every time they pulled out one of these flecks, it would burst into flames and very painfully burn Henry's eyes a little bit more. While Henry was undergoing all these surgeries, the rest of his B-29 crew immediately went to their commanding officer and said, you have to put Henry in for the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is the highest award you can achieve in the US military. After the commanding officer heard the story of what Henry had done, he agreed, and in record time, he got the paperwork processed and got Henry approved for this award. But there were no actual physical medals of honor on the island to actually present to Henry, and the officers and the rest of his crew were worried Henry would die before the actual medal was shipped out to the island to be given to him. And so the only Medal of Honor that was on this island was inside of a museum behind a glass case. And so one of the officers in Henry's crew went into the museum, shattered the case, took the display Medal of Honor, and rushed to Henry's bedside and put it around his neck. And then after that, somehow Henry just didn't die. After dozens and dozens of surgeries, Henry actually regained sight in one of his eyes and regained the use of most of his body. Henry would later be asked in an interview what it was like to do this very heroic thing that he did. And he would say, well, you know, I only moved the bomb 13 feet, but 13 feet feels like 13 miles when you're on fire. Henry would go on to be honorably discharged from the military, and he would spend the next 37 years working closely with other burn victims, trying to keep them positive and optimistic about their recovery. He would also go on to have 4 children, one of which became an Alabama state senator. In 2002, Henry died of natural causes at the age of 80. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments section what it is.
Now that's cool. I like that. 13 feet feels like 13 miles when you're on fire. I would imagine. Oh my God, could you? No, I couldn't imagine. Ow. No. That'd be horrifying. That's some bravery right there. Alright. We're done. I'm outie. I hope you guys have fun. I had fun. I do like old Mr. Ballin. He's a heck of a storyteller. Alright, everyone. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. And share this video with everyone you know. As always, stay spooky. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.